welcome back to some more Menace, although in this video we're not gonna have too much gameplay. So last week I released the first look video at the demo here. We also had a live stream, and especially during the first video I tried to do just an objective presentation of the gameplay. I tried to not throw too much of my judgment or opinions in either positive or negative direction at this, so that you could make like an objective, make up your own mind how you like the game. Also, the demo should now be available for everybody to download and play, so even more chance for you to get your own picture. But I thought it might be, I had the feeling I wanted to also bring up a video where I will throw my opinion into the ring and talk about all the issues that I currently have with the game and its current state, and some of the design decisions that have been made, and what I think about those. And let's just start off with my biggest red flag, which might actually mean that I'm not going to play this game when it fully releases, and that is this. That was the quick save button, well, which doesn't do anything. Saving isn't allowed during missions. Now, you might say, oh no, that's probably just a restriction of the demo version. I'm not too sure about that, because I'm fairly certain Battle Brothers also did not allow you to take saves during missions. There's like a million different reasons why you would want to take a save, quit the game, and come back to it later. While you're playing a mission, especially since missions in Menace can be fairly long. We've had missions of 60 minutes, 90 minutes-ish, in that kind of category, and this is just the demo. I would assume that in the full game and in the late game of the game, you might run into 2-hour missions. And having to always have that time allotted to the game without an opportunity to take a break, well, I guess you can take a break, just have to gotta keep the game running always, but people can't always do that. You can also have interruptions that are outside of your control, from a loss of power to your toddler or your cat ripping out the power cord, or you're just running out of battery on your laptop because you wanted to play a little bit while waiting for your flight. Million valid reasons why, hey, I don't want to lose progress when I'm playing the game. And I think making that conscious decision of not allowing you to save, I think is, in my opinion, disrespectful of the player's time. And that's not a sort of game design practice I like to support. And that, for me, is really, really a big red flag. It's also a thing of where I start to wonder, okay, if I run into any bugged issues, I cannot even take a save game and send that save game in and say, hey, in that combat in-game situation, this and this issue is appearing. Can't do that, right? Because I can't share a save game state. It also really discourages experimentation, right? There's a lot of hidden mechanics and interesting interactions that you might want to interact with and might want to try out, but you're not sure if it actually works this way. So the typical way would be, test it out, see, oh, it doesn't work, okay, let's go back to the save game. Not allowed. No experimentation allowed. No, and I think that kind of limits the depth of your exploration. But anyway, that's enough ranting for me about this part of the game. But for me, this is really the biggest issue I have right now, and would be probably for me a thing where I would then say, no, I'll pass. I don't want to lose progress due to something outside of my control. Just have a solid save game system, auto-saves, I don't know, at every round, every turn, whatever. Every other game gets that done. I don't know why this game doesn't have that. And I think that's not... in current year, that's not acceptable. Alright, so that's the main basic feature. Let's talk a little bit about the UI. And hang on, I've got something a little bit prepared. Alright, this, as you can see, is a screenshot from XCOM. This is me taking a shot. I have a lot of information down here, what my hit chance is, how the hit chance is calculated, what my crit chance is, how that is calculated, what kind of damage I can expect. I see information about the enemy right here. The expected result, how many hit points this enemy will lose, how many hit points he has left. He has 4 points of armor, I'm penetrating 1 point of armor. I can also judge how dangerous this enemy is, right, based on the stats like how much damage they do, what their aim is, what their mobility is, yada yada yada, the whole thing. There's a lot of information on this one screen, but it's presented in an easily digestible, at a glance way, so I can quickly make my decisions. Because for me, and that's again personal opinion, for me in a strategy game, it's the most interesting when I make interesting and meaningful decisions. That's what makes it fun to me. You know, high amount of interesting decisions to make. And in order to make good decisions, the game needs to give me the information that I can make, well, informed decisions, right? Cool. So, if we're looking at Menace here, and I take a shot here with any weapon. Am I deployed? I'm deployed. Do I have enough? No, I don't have enough things. Well, I guess I'm not even in range to take a shot here to show off what I was going to show. Well, no, it still shows. So instead of everything easily digestible at a glance, I have this tooltip on the right, which is like a bunch of mushy bars that kind of show something, but not really. And because they're not showing enough, then you have like subjective evaluations of, you know, poor accuracy, poor suppression. I don't understand why the game doesn't just use numbers. Why isn't there a suppression value? Why, like, the accuracy bar is a bar that has 10 segments and a certain number of these segments are colored in. You think, you know, if there's 6 out of those 10 segments colored in, they could have just written 60%. Like, the percentage is there, it's on the screen. The game just decided to, yeah, you know, we'd rather show you a bar. That's also outside of your view. It's like on the side of the screen rather than in the center. Like, all this information that's on the right-hand side could have been included, like, right here next to the cursor. Just, you know, put it right on the cursor where it says that we would see then accuracy, penetration, suppression. I also don't need the flavor text for the enemies that I'm shooting at each time I'm taking the shot, or the flavor text for the fire modes. Like, there's 8 lines of text on the right hand side that I don't care about. It's just yeah. Then there's also the target is in cover. Now, if we look here, you can already kind of see it here. There's different cover values, right? There's cover is represented by shields when you move somewhere or when you shoot somewhere. There's like empty shields, there's half full shields, there's also full shields somewhere. I don't think I have any nearby. How much is each cover worth? I mean, that's also something where then I take this information for my own decisions. Am I in good cover or not? But I don't have any feedback on that, right? It's just, is the difference between an empty shield and a full shield, is it like 10%? Is it 40%? Nobody knows. It's a big minus, target in cover. And then also the enemy, so if we look then further down, there's a health bar, which is like, again, a segmented bar. We kind of, at first glance, it looks like it's 2 big segments, but no, there's actually also another segmentation at the quarter point, so it's like 4 points, which kind of probably represents there being 4 dudes. Then on top of that, you have that unit bar on top, which basically gives you no information. Well, the only information it gives you is this unit hasn't acted yet. Units that have acted are grayed out, but there's 3 bars, and it's like, even zooming in doesn't do anything because it kind of then also just stays the same size. It doesn't get bigger. There's no UI scaling option in the game at the moment, so everything, like these unit bars are absolutely worthless. Like, they convey no information to me outside of, has this enemy moved yet or not. Then, since we're out of range with the weapon, right? It's X'd out, we cannot actually shoot, even if we tried. Now, you might think, okay, so all the weapons have different ranges, but there's an easy way to see the weapon range. If you hover over a weapon in your hotbar, it'll show you the range indicator. So I'm gonna hover over my grenade launcher, and the frickin' tooltip of the grenade launcher takes up half the screen, and I can barely see where my weapon range is. What in the world? Who thought this is a good idea? And again, 10 lines of flavor text about the family history of the rocket launcher. I don't care. During combat, I do not care about the flavor text. I don't know why it's there. It doesn't, like, nobody is gonna, during the mission, start reading, oh, so it's 100mm diameter. Okay, interesting. Don't give a crap. That it's, and for some weapons it's even worse. I think the sniper rifle, well, I can't show you right now because I can't switch to another unit. But it continues to be like the same thing, where like the tooltips just get bigger and bigger for some weapons, and just you want to take look here, is this unit in range? And it's like, okay, I guess it's in range. You're basically constantly fighting with the camera so that the tooltips for various abilities, be it this or just for taking a shot, are not covering up the screen. And yeah, no, I wasn't in range. So again, it's like, and yeah, we talked about the accuracy. I don't think this is a good representation of giving information to the player, and so it's not allowing me to make good decisions. Like this is all, I'd say XCOM gives you all the information, a big buffet of information, and you can just have an all-you-can-eat session of information there and make a decision based on that. And Menace, you kind of have to drag into a back alley and beat the information out of it with a baseball bat. And that's not usually how I like to approach it. It's like, just give it to me. Just give it to me in a nice, digestible, well-designed way. Again, and same thing with the whole plus unit is deployed, minus target and cover. I cannot, like, let's take a good decision here. I have 100 action points per turn. Usually a typical shot is 40 action points, so I can, let's say I move the tile, I have 80 action points left. Do I take a single shot deploying first to get the aim boost, or do I take 2 shots undeployed? It's the good old rapid fire question from XCOM, you know? Do I just take 1 shot that's more accurate, or do I take 2 shots with rapid fire? And there's basically, you can make a calculation on what's better for the result that you want. I can't make that calculation here because it's just a plus unit is deployed. I'm sure by testing and trial and error, or by probably looking at the code, people can figure out what the actual value is. I just don't understand why they are so reluctant of giving you that information. Alright, so is that enough rant about the interface here? I guess there's a little bit more rant to be had when we're talking about the interface in the squad loadout screen, where like information is not on the screen that you need it to, like the whole deployment points could be, you know, let me just what mission? Quit to menu. Let me just load that game again here. Oh, that was a different game. Oh, whatever. Let's go to mission select. So in this screen here, for example, I see the number of squaddies that I have. 32 squaddies that I can assign to my squad. Cool. That's my squad. So, okay, I have 32 total. How many do I have available? Well, wouldn't you like to know? I guess we gotta count. 4 here, and then 7 here, and that makes 16. 22. 26, so I have 6 more available. Okay, but I only have 2 loadout points left available. So how much do I gain? You know, if I want to shift around, I want to have more points here. Right, that puts me as minus 31. If I put one more squaddy into this squad, okay, I guess I can put one here, one fewer here. No, but that was only worth 8. So I'm constantly, first of all, I don't know how many squaddies total I still have unassigned, so how big I could go. And also, I don't know, since the equipment values for each squad are different, I don't know how much each one is worth putting and removing. Sure, I can trial and error, you know, see if everyone, that's still not enough. How about you? How much are your squaddies worth? Okay, now we're back at +9, so I can go back here. Like, this information could just be there, right? You could have a little box somewhere telling you currently per squad. Like, maybe even next to the +- button somewhere information that says, okay, current squad value per unit is 16 or 9 or 27 or whatever. I think that makes sense. That just, you know, fiddling around like that just seems unnecessary. And again, I don't. Why do I not have my resources here? Like, how many total squaddies I still have available, and how many I can still assign, and also the other resources. How many promotion points do I have? I guess I need to go into this screen. Oh, yeah, no, never mind. We don't have any promotion points available, so I can't assign a promotion. Could be here. You know, there's plenty of room here. There's also this whole thing, right? You have the map of the mission you're about to do, and then the briefing is taking up space on the map, and depending on how many objectives that you have, that's a lot of space. Sure, you can collapse it, but I feel like there's enough room on the space to kind of rearrange that so the objectives are not in the way. Talking about the mission, I also find it kind of weird that you have this full-on overview of the map in the mission select screen when you deploy your soldiers, and then as you load into the map, everything is black. You'd think if we have this overview, at least just give me the map layout with a fog of war on top of it, instead of just having the fully blacked out map. So you better remember where every single building is, or every single rock on the field, if you want to move from point A to point B to point C. It seems like a weird decision to have it all blacked out during the mission. That's kind of yeah, I think that's it in terms of interface complaints, I guess, for now. Sure, I can figure out more. Finally, let's talk a little bit about game mechanics. I don't see this adding this feels like it's pretending to be deaf, but it's not. Like, why do we have 4 different assault rifles, battle rifles, with like, you would take like 20 minutes to see then where the stat difference is between these two, right? And then during the mission, do you really remember who had the SOC and who had the pack and whatever the names are and what the minor differences was? Or am I gonna say, oh, I need my squad with the 5 more armor penetration on the assault rifle here now? To me, this is completely unnecessary bloat. The side grade different weapon types. I think just having, sure, assault rifle, battle rifle, carbine, SMG, those are different weapon types. Having 3 different, and you can get more different assault rifles from mission rewards. I don't know, but I'm sure some people are going to be really excited about the minute little differences. For me, this is just the side grades where you don't even see the effect during the mission, and it's just bloat that's not really adding interesting decision making stuff. Then there's also the whole restrictions of, okay, We're flying in on an orbital dropship, coming from other planets, all the equipment, but sorry, we only have one smoke grenade in the whole company. There's some very arbitrary restrictions in terms of equipment. That I mean, maybe there's some gameplay reasons for that, but I think for some of the basic items that seems very pulled out of nowhere restrictions. What else do we have? Promotions. If you watch any of my XCOM content, especially the current ModGem campaign, there's often 10 minutes where a new soldier gets promoted to a class, and then I'm geeking out over the perk tree, looking at potential promotions they will get 100 episodes down the road, and what the best build is, etc., etc., etc. And so far, for any of the characters here in the Menace demo, for any of the promotions, there's nothing that excites me of who I can't wait to get that. Like the most of the perks are either boring or flat out useless. Like increased deployment zone, how is that a tier 2 perk? That is so like the 50% more concealment. Yeah, you spoiler alert, your unit has 0 concealment. 50% over 0 is still 0. Perk does nothing. There's then perks like a 25% chance to do 25% more damage. That's like, okay, 6% more damage. That's like worse than center mass, and everybody always makes fun of that. It's to me, this is all just very, very careful perks that barely have any impact. Yeah, I mean, sure, there are some outliers. Berserk, regaining 30 AP after killing an enemy. That's okay. That, maybe gets you one extra tile of movement after a kill. But most of the perks here, and also the starting perks, yeah, haven't really excited me in any way. And that's kind of a shame, because that's something I always look forward to, and that gets me back to playing the game more, right? Where I'm like, oh, I can't wait to get that next promotion, and if I get this skill and that skill and the synergy between the skills, it's gonna be glorious. I don't see that here. Then again, it's still an early demo. The game is still 5 months away from release or so. A lot of things can change, and maybe I also didn't look at every single perk in full detail and don't fully understand yet how they might interact. But at the moment, it's very, very boring, the perks. And finally, I mean, if I had a save game from the mission, I could go there and show you a little bit of the mission gameplay, but I guess we're just going to talk 5 minutes about the gameplay itself. There's definitely some interesting new concepts. The whole suppression and pinning down mechanic is something new, and at first I found it very interesting. I just don't think it's strong enough to carry the game. And at the moment, every mission I played basically revolved around just that. Suppressing enemies, pinning them down, moving the other parts of your squad closer to take them out while they're pinned down, and this kind of cooperation between your squads, which is fun for a while, but I think it gets very old very quickly. And that's, again, for me personally. Like, I don't think that's a strong enough mechanic to carry the game. It's, of course, given the contents of the demo, too early to say if this is it, if there's nothing else to it, but I think it's not strong enough, and I think there's definitely some tactical aspects missing. I'm just gonna say, not having an Overwatch option is kinda shooting yourself in the foot here. I think that's just a staple of the genre, and it seems weird that I can't tell my people, hey, if somebody comes around that corner, shoot them. That seems like the most basic functionality that a game in this genre should have. Being able to say, hey, if somebody comes out that building or around that corner, shoot them. I also have really some issues that can be ironed out, I guess, with the initiative system. So every faction, every side takes a turn moving a unit. The problem is that it really at the moment breaks apart if one side clearly outnumbers the other one. I had a mission basically where I moved my last unit and they had still like 8 additional units to move afterwards. So, and that means I couldn't react to any of the threats, and I couldn't have any passive reaction like, let's say, in Overwatch, because it doesn't exist in the game. So I was just watching as 8 different units started moving in onto the defend the zone area, and I lost already within the turn with any opportunity to do something against it, 30% of the protect the zone counter, with not much counterplay. And I think there are ways to handle that in the initiative system, but the current way where it's like one from this team, then one from this team, and if one team is out, then the other team gets to move their remaining 20 guys all at once, that doesn't work. That doesn't work. That breaks that initiative system, and they need to figure something out there. Right. That being said, even though there was a lot of critique, a lot of negativity here, I'm not saying I hate the game. I just think it has a solid basis. There's a lot of things, especially on the UI front, that I would need to see different for me to be able to really enjoy the game. So it kind of, I'm surprised how much of an overwhelmingly positive response it's got from several other people, where I think like you're not being critical enough of the shortcomings. It's nice to have something fresh, something new, but I think there's a certain standard that I'm expecting from a game, and if it doesn't meet the standard, then I need to be critical of the game. And I really need to be able to save a game when I want to. Anyway, that's me ranting. That's me talking about Menace. Maybe we'll see more of the game in the future, maybe not. For now, I'm gonna call it here. Thanks for listening, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.